Live from WTOC, the Southeast News leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
Would like to welcome you all to The News on WTOC Plus. I'm digital anchor Jude Binkley. We start with national news as the Supreme Court dealt a major blow to President Trump's economic policies today, striking down his sweeping use of tariffs. Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
In a 6-3 ruling, the Supreme Court struck down President Trump's sweeping tariff agenda, writing that the International Emergency Economic Powers Act does not authorize the president to impose tariffs.
It looks like that this is all about the idea that the Constitution gives Congress the power to regulate commerce, that the Constitution gives Congress the power to impose taxes.
President Trump announced global tariffs last April on what he called Liberation Day. He had argued as recently as Thursday that a ruling against his tariffs would be an economic blow to the country.
We have to be before the Supreme Court of the United States to justify tariffs, which are making every one of these businesses thrive. And without them, all these buildings are closed, like they have been before I got here.
Small businesses in a group of states brought the legal challenge to the court in November.
These tariffs aren't paid by foreign governments or companies. It's American businesses like mine and American consumers that are footing the bill.
The majority opinion included two of the three justices President Trump appointed, Barrett and Gorsuch. Only Justices Kavanaugh, Alito, and Thomas dissented. The Supreme Court decision impacts the so-called reciprocal tariffs, but does not prevent the president from imposing sector-specific tariffs under different trade laws, including levies on copper, steel, and aluminum, which remain in effect. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And we do want to note that in just a few moments, the president is set to give his remarks and reactions to the Supreme Court's ruling. This is a live look right now at the press conference room in the White House. Press conference was scheduled to begin about 15 minutes ago. It has not yet, but this is something we will be tracking. And as soon as he does take to the podium, we will take an extended look at it right here on WTOC Plus. In the meantime, we do have some reactions from local leaders. U.S. Representative Buddy Carter issued a statement in regards to the Supreme Court ruling, saying, quote, "The Supreme Court just undercut the president's ability to defend American workers. President Donald Trump was elected to fight unfair trade and stop the United States from being ripped off. I'm outraged by this decision. It's clearly judicial overreach." Also, Georgia U.S. Senator, Raphael Warnock said in a statement, "This ruling is welcome relief for families who are struggling with higher prices as a direct result of the president's policies. I hope that instead of pursuing other avenues to impose these expensive taxes on Americans, the president centers the people and works to make life more affordable." Back here at home, two people were shot on Hilton Head Island last night before the suspect died by suicide at his Bluffton home after an hours-long standoff with deputies. Beaufort County Sheriff's Office received reports of gunshots on Lark Street on Hilton Head just after 11:30 last night. When deputies arrived, they found two victims outside a home. A 50-year-old woman and a 62-year-old man were pronounced dead at the scene. Deputies learned that the suspect fled in a vehicle. Using automated license plate reader cameras, deputies identified the car and later located it in outside a home off Promenade Street in Bluffton. Deputies went into a standoff with the suspect, who was a 52-year-old man. After hours and the release of a woman inside the home with him, deputies entered the house and found the body of the suspect with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Anyone with information about the incident is encouraged to contact the lead investigator. That's Sergeant Cushman at 843-255-3722. Well, community leaders held a vigil in memory of Dr. Linda Davis, the Savannah teacher killed Monday in a car crash involving a man fleeing from ICE agents. People prayed for Dr. Davis, her family, and the immigrant community in Savannah. School leaders spoke about the impact Dr. Davis had as a special education teacher at Hess K-8 school in Savannah, as well as her impact outside of the classroom. Teachers at Hess told students about Dr. Davis's passing on Tuesday. Colleagues say she cared deeply for her students and was a one-of-a-kind teacher.
Her energy was amazing. She is a true advocate for children, and it was her desire to make each of them feel extremely special in her classroom.
An administrator who's been in constant contact with her family say they are grateful for the love and support they've received. No word yet on when funeral services will be held. Turning now to state news, testimony will continue in the trial of Colin Gray. He's accused of giving his son Colt Gray the gun allegedly used in the deadly shooting at Appalachia High School in 2024. Yesterday, several school leaders took to the stand and prosecutors unveiled new evidence, including body cam footage of deputies rushing to Colin's home right after the shooting. Joe Gorcho with our sister station breaks it down.
Almost a minute after Barrow County deputies knock on Colin Gray's door in September of 2024, he steps outside, echoing his deepest fears that his son might be connected to a shooting at Appalachia High School.
God, I knew it when my little girl just texted me. She's in middle school. She said, we're in lockdown. I'm like, God almighty, please tell me, brother. Please tell me.
So why do you think that? Why would you think that?
We're trying to get him into counseling. He just didn't fit in last year at high school.
Prosecutors enter the fourth day of the trial with that revealing video, followed by witnesses exposing a troubling history of Colt Gray's home life and behavior. Between 4th and 8th grade, Colt switched schools multiple times, and multiple school administrators testified on Thursday about attendance issues, bullying, and concerns about his internet searches.
And was there a second search after the word abuse?
Yes. It was how to kill your dad.
School leaders also testified as well that it was very difficult to reach both Colt's father and mother.
I don't think so.
Jackson County deputies, though, did make contact with Colin Gray back in May of 2023, following an FBI tip about a Discord user threatening a school shooting, which led them to Gray.
He knows the seriousness of weapons and what they can do and how to use them and not use them. So it's kind of a little bit of a shock. So in whatever y'all are telling him, please instill in him that if this is whatever or wherever this is coming from, it's no joke.
Joe Gorcho, Atlanta News First.
Well, President Trump visited North Georgia to promote his pick for the Republican candidate to fill the congressional seat left vacant by former Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. President Trump covered many topics during his speech in Rome, Georgia, but his primary focus on what he says is the strength of the economy since he returned to office. President Trump stopped by the iconic Atlanta restaurant, The Varsity, at its Rome restaurant before visiting Coosa Steel Corporation. Before speaking to workers there, Trump spoke with company leaders who praised the president for his tariffs.
Because the tariffs have really been a big difference.
It's been a game changer. We were competing with China. They had taken all of it. They were producing racks at $90 a piece. Our cost alone is $150. You've leveled it. The playing field's back.
While Trump had a warm welcome in Rome, Democrats in the state Senate gathered yesterday to share frustration over rising costs and economic strain. We're hearing from a disabled veteran and mother of a child with autism who accuses some lawmakers of skipping important legislative days when they should be there working to address affordability.
Tale as old as time. The people at the bottom get hit the most. I'm one of those people that are at the bottom, and I am getting hit the most.
He's coming here to lie. He's coming here to gaslight. He's coming here to portray a version of the truth that does not exist.
Trump's visit was to encourage his supporters in Rome to vote for his pick, Clay Fuller, in that congressional race. Fuller is one of 18 people vying for that seat. Well, ahead of the upcoming State of the Union address, which is scheduled for Tuesday, we're taking a closer look at President Donald Trump's record on health care. After promising to bring down costs in his second term, the question is what's changed and what hasn't? Well, WTOC Washington correspondent Stephen Goyne has the details.
So far, the president's healthcare strategy has really focused on lowering prescription drug prices. But for many Americans, the overall cost of care is still out of reach.
I, Donald John Trump.
1 year ago, in his second term inauguration address, President Donald Trump acknowledged that American healthcare was too expensive, saying more money is spent on it than any country anywhere in the world. Since then, Trump has pushed for what he calls most favored nation drug pricing, an effort to bring U.S. prices closer to lower cost abroad.
Starting next year, American drug prices will come down fast and furious.
So far, it's resulted in more than a dozen agreements with drug makers, but many of those deals appear to be limited to certain drugs or patient groups. The White House also launched Trump RX, a new federal website where people can purchase some of those discounted medications directly from manufacturers, bypassing insurance companies.
People are going to save a lot of money and be healthy.
But critics have called it a limited tool, noting that many of the drugs listed may already be cheaper through generic options or other discount programs. In his second term, Trump also unveiled what he calls the Great Healthcare Plan, which aims to lower costs and expand health savings accounts. It also promises $50 billion to shore up rural healthcare,
Ensuring that rural Americans get world-class health care in their own community, right smack in their own community.
Still missing from that plan any mention of extending the Affordable Care Act subsidies, a key point of contention that sparked last fall's government shutdown. Trump has argued the subsidies only enrich insurance companies, saying he instead wants to put that money directly into people's hands to pay for their own care. However, the cost of that care is still a burden for many, according to health policy research organization KFF.
Affordability of healthcare ranks at the tops of people's household worries about what they're going to be able to afford in the coming year. They are concerned about the expiration of the ACA enhanced premium tax credits.
In Washington, I'm Stephen Goen.
We have new details this afternoon about services to honor Reverend Jesse Jackson. His family says he will lie in repose at the Rainbow Push Coalition headquarters in Chicago, Thursday, February 26th through Friday, February 27th. Formal services will follow with events planned in South Carolina and Washington, D.C. from Sunday, March 1st through Wednesday, March 4th. A public people's celebration will be held at the House of Hope in Chicago on Friday, March 6th. And then on the 7th, a private homegoing ceremony will take place. The civil rights icon died this week at the age of 84. Well, now to a cooking class that's getting people off the streets and into careers. It's a free 11-week program run by an organization called Open Hand Atlanta. Madeline Montgomery has the story.
Haneke Gashard always dreamed of working in the food industry. He didn't always have a kitchen or food on the table.
I was homeless at 18.
He was living at Covenant House, a youth homeless shelter, when opportunity came knocking in the form of Chef Kira Scott.
She explained about what the program was about and how they were offering safe serve certifications and a job after, and teaching you the basics about culinary. And the key word for me was free.
Open Hand Atlanta's workforce development program lasts 11 weeks and teaches aspiring chefs and culinary professionals everything from new skills to restaurant management.
We want everyone to come here and gain the skills that are going to it's going to have the ripple effect with changing their lives and getting them into not just a job, but into a career.
The nonprofit works with homeless shelters and advocacy groups to find apprentices like Gashard.
Teaching me skills for me to flourish and not only give me a job, but somewhere I love, and pushing me further towards stability. It just changed my whole outlook on, when people say a blessings come in disguise, and it came out of nowhere.
The workforce development program has an 85% in-industry employment rate. The average salary for graduates is over $18 an hour. Gishard was hired at Natalie Bianca, a new restaurant in Southwest Atlanta, 1 week after graduating.
It was pretty amazing. Chef Kira, she made sure she found a great environment for me. It wasn't just about getting me a job, it was finding a place where I would belong.
Courtney Rucker is the restaurant's co-owner.
It doesn't even feel like charity. I feel like I won, by getting someone on my team that's so bright and is creative, comes in every day with, new ideas, fresh ideas, but also just a willingness to learn.
Learn and grow.
I want to open a restaurant convenience store, but not just for food, but I want to help rehabilitate homeless youth and give them job opportunities.
Serving to others through what Open Hand Atlanta has given to him.
All right, pretty cool story right there. And with that, we are going to wrap things up this afternoon for the news on WTOC Plus. We'd like to thank you all for joining us this afternoon. We will be back in just about 15 minutes for the First Alert Weather Show with Dave Turley. Just planning for a wet weekend ahead in some parts of the coastal empire. Dave will break it all down coming up at the bottom of the hour. Then at 2 o'clock, we'll have our next news update right here on WTOC Plus. And I should have thrown the graphic in, but it's Friday. We'll be doing Governing Georgia at 2:30 live here on WTOC Plus and the WTOC Facebook page as well. That's our weekly political recap show. I just finished putting it together. Should be a good show this week, so stay tuned for that at 2:30. In the meantime, you can always check our website for the latest. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and here's Local News Live.